I really feel like we are witnessing the biggest 180 in the gaming space and even in the tech space than we've ever actually seen. The past 5 years have been incredibly rough for Microsoft and Xbox, not to mince words about any of this, especially with Satya Nadella at the helm of Microsoft, running everything he possibly can into the proverbial ground. And to make matters even worse, his massive, insane bets on AI, especially with OpenAI and Copilot. But it looks like things might in fact be changing. And if you think things can't change on a dime, well, take a look at this. Back in February on Microsoft's blog, here was the actual post. Microsoft and OpenAI's joint statement on a continuing partnership back in February of 2026. With the post saying the partnership remains strong and central, Microsoft and OpenAI continue to work together closely across research, engineering, and product development, building on years of deep collaboration and shared success. Now, you would think things like this would, of course, be pretty rock solid, especially watching people like Satya Nadella and Sam Altman sit together on a podcast and just yap expeditiously about what they're doing with their data centers and even with their stock prices as well. But as the time continued to tick and move on, things quickly began to change, not even slowly. Where in fact a few days ago and even last week, Tom's Hardo reported on this. Microsoft says Copilot is for entertainment purposes only, not serious use. Firm is pushing AI hard to consumers, tells users not to rely on it for important advice. With the article saying this, Microsoft used to push its AI services towards its user base, especially with the launch of the Copilot Plus PC. But it seems that even the company itself does not trust its creation. According to the Microsoft Copilot Terms of Use, which was updated in October last year, the AI large language model is designed for entertainment use only, and users should not use it for important advice. Or this may be a boilerplate disclaimer, it's quite ironic given how hard the company wants people to use Copilot for business uses and has integrated it into Windows 11. Seeing these kinds of statements from the actual blog post of Microsoft in February to then seeing the actual disclaimer showing up in Copilot a few weeks later is actually kind of wild to see. With Satya Nadella being the one to say, hey guys, please stop being mean to the AI, stop calling it slop, and everybody else online calling him micro slop. And I'm honestly guessing none of that really went over quite well for them, basically at all. Seeing as how week over week, day over day, month over month, we're watching as Microsoft stock continually takes a massive tumble and fall over and over again. Let's also not forget how Nadella was even stating to so many people that AI has to find a wider impact or else they can risk losing all the funding that they've been gaining. So when you put all these things together and you see how Microsoft has been doubling down and dare I even say tripling down on AI, it really goes to show what is in fact even happening with this company and how is it going to impact not only the tech space, but also the gaming space as well. The thing is though, it looks like Microsoft may have done that 180 faster than people can actually realize. According to Windows' latest saying this, breaking, Microsoft quietly removes Copilot branding from Notepad and snipping tool on Windows 11. Microsoft appears to be doing exactly what it promised after the Windows quality reset. Notepad has now removed Copilot branding and replaced it with a simpler writing tools icon, while the snipping tool no longer seems to show the Copilot button. AI is still there, but Microsoft is clearly stepping back from plastering Copilot branding across Windows 11. Honestly, this is probably a smarter move as users were tired of seeing Copilot branding. Now I know what you're thinking, Alex, we're talking about Snipping Tool and Notepad. What does that have to do with anything right now in terms of video games or even the tech space as well? Think about it from this perspective. Let me take you by the hand real quick. We're talking about a company that has been betting on AI for the better part of the past 5 years, getting into massive agreements with OpenAI, also getting into massive amounts of funding with OpenAI as well, building their own data centers, their own AI, and then implementing it across the entire actual platform and landscape of Windows. At the exact same time, they've also been caught in GDC putting Copilot into their own gaming software, where you can bet your sweet bippy there's going to be some form of Copilot AI inside of the next Project Helix console. And if the rumors are true that Windows is going to be the baseline of what people are going to be using to access the actual operating system of the Helix console and even Windows 11, you're going to be seeing a lot of changes being made across the platform itself, making it better across the board, thereby having to basically de-bloat Windows from Copilot altogether. It may start with the snipping tool, but it's definitely going to reach wider impacts, especially as Microsoft is really angry about the entire thing. Because even back in March of this year, Windows Central said this: Microsoft is putting an end to microslop on Windows 11, commits to reducing Copilot across systems, apps, and interfaces. As part of Microsoft's big set of sweeping changes coming to Windows 11, the company has confirmed plans to reduce where Copilot and AI experiences appear across the operating system. And if you don't think it's going to impact you, well, this is the perfect example, the Xbox ROG Ally X. This device is exactly what you're going to be experiencing and expecting when the new Project Helix comes out. And if Microsoft can fix Windows 11, make their apps actual native EXEs and not web apps in the first place, and also de-bloat Windows, not just with telemetry, but instead with AI Copilot being removed across the entire board or being put more into the background and not being shoved into your face, we could be seeing a massive change across the entire brand. Hell, for the last 5 years, major requests that people wanted for the Xbox brand are finally being put into action. Take a look. Hazardor Gaming on Twitter says this: Xbox announces Achievements Refresh for consoles, available for Xbox insiders first and rolling out for everyone later. Achievements get a visual refresh, hide games from your achievement list, and highlight your 100% completed games. With Hazardor Gaming also saying this: no fucking way Asha Shar has done more for consoles in the last few weeks than years of nothing. She's proving me wrong. And just that spot alone, seeing that kind of small refresh happen with an entire brand on the console space, is exactly what we've been going to see with everything on the PC side as well. And Microsoft thereby even starting to back off and pull away from the entire AI coma that they've been living under for the last 5+ years because of it. And I really feel what's happening is we're seeing a massive shift and change on the bets Microsoft was making, not only with OpenAI, not only with Copilot, but also where they were planning on taking everything in the gaming space as well. And Asha Sharma, as one of the new leaders of Xbox, may be doing things that other people were either too afraid to do or didn't have the right pull on Satya Nadella's ear in order to do it. Because even just a few months back in February, Microsoft did something even crazier. According to Windows Central, Microsoft confirms their plan to ditch OpenAI as the ChatGPT firm continues to beg big tech for cash. Google DeepMind co-founder and Microsoft AI lead Mustafa Suleyman suggests that the big tech firm is moving away from OpenAI reliance as the latter's financials look increasingly dire. This really could have been the beginning of the end for Microsoft's insane AI push, not only with Copilot, but also with OpenAI. Seeing how much money all these companies were in fact dumping into OpenAI, hoping for a return, while Microsoft kept pushing Copilot and nothing was coming up for them at all. People were calling them micro slop. Things weren't working out, and their stock continually took a plunge every single month. And that is not what companies companies want to see. And I think drastic changes were happening on the back end because I think people like Satya Nadella were betting more on Copilot and AI in the first place to be the big money maker at all. And when they find out that Scam Altman was just doing what he does best, scamming every company he possibly could, it looks like Microsoft hit the brakes and pulled a 180 and decided to start fixing things on the user end instead. And honestly, I'm going to wait and see what happens. But I think the clearer part of what's going on is this article right here. Windows Central says this: suddenly Microsoft cares about Xbox and Windows feedback. Why now? What changed? With Microsoft share price taking a 30% slide in the past 6 months, I can't help but feel it smells a little bit like panic. With the article saying this: after years of Xbox Series X and S being ignored and bereft of updates, Microsoft began issuing a flurry of new Xbox features in almost rapid-fire style. After a few years of deprioritizing Xbox community building, it has reopened Xbox FanFest this year and is even taking the event global. Similarly, on the Windows side, after years of destroying the operating system's reputation with hollow, forced Microsoft Copilot integrations, Microsoft basically apologized for the state of Windows 11 OS a few weeks ago. It's bringing back the Windows Insider meetups and is also prioritizing new features people have been asking for years, like the vertical taskbar. Microsoft has been at the forefront of the AI debate, but not necessarily as an innovator. Microsoft was an early investor in OpenAI, seeding over $13 billion into the company in exchange for what was, on paper, an incredibly lucrative exclusivity deal to its frontier AI models like GPT. Fast forward to 2026, and there are now rumors Microsoft plans to sue OpenAI over its partnerships with Amazon, SoftBank, and others, as it seems increasingly likely the pair are heading for an incredibly messy divorce. Who knew all it took for Microsoft to get their wheels back in gear would be to burn away $13 billion, fire thousands of employees, spend even more billions on more AI as well, and then at the same time realize, oh, we're not going to get our money back. I'm telling you, Scam Altman is on an entirely different level in the actual space of technology. And it really goes to show that sometimes for a company to get their shit back in gear, all you got to do is basically just leave. Walk away. No amount of money they could ever think to imagine is never going to be enough for them. And when things fall through or they get scammed, the one place every company will return to is back to you and me, the customer and consumer. The difference now, though, is that Microsoft is doing it rather quietly, and the only ones noticing are people that are really looking into Windows in the first place and seeing how so many of these small changes are happening, and at the same time even happening to Xbox as well. I think if this lawsuit in fact does go through, we're going to be seeing a massive shift and change inside of Microsoft completely, not just with Windows, but also with Xbox as well, because clearly losing $13 billion is not going to be the thing that Microsoft shareholders want to see, especially with every other company now going around and realizing exactly why this AI build-out may not have been a good deal at all. When you see things happen even worse, like companies like Samsung and SK Hynix double down on their long-term agreements, still keeping the prices of RAM high. At the same time, seeing pictures of people from Micro Center looking at RAM costing $4,000, with SSDs in the $900 space as well. Things don't look good for the regular consumer, or dare I even say the companies either, because the money they're burning into OpenAI is not having any sort of return whatsoever. But there's more to the article and everything from the author, so let's go check it out. With the article saying this: basically what I'm saying in a nutshell here, Microsoft could very much be left holding a huge, festering bag as a result of its, quote, partnership with notoriously untrustworthy financier Sam Altman and his profit-allergic OpenAI operation. Jesus Christ, who wrote this? Oh, Jez wrote this. That makes a lot of sense, Jez. Yeah, that is exactly how this guy writes. Remind me to never get on his bad side, let me tell you. It's a risk that could still pay off in much the same way that Amazon did, growing its digital business. Amazon is a global default in various markets now. Microsoft's capital expenditure right now is a bet on becoming the same for artificial intelligence as a category. I think either way, Microsoft is well positioned for a future-facing, more realistic, less hype-driven artificial intelligence industry. But I can't help but feel in my bones that Microsoft knows it has a dud with OpenAI. Architecturally, maybe, but also simply strategically. There are reams of reports that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is untrustworthy at best and potentially even sociopathic at worst. But all that aside about Sam Altman, I think the real issue is this. Microsoft has been able to catch the writing on the wall, and they're seeing what's happening with AI and the fact that the bubble may be bursting sooner than we actually expect. And clearly, it's going to happen, even though they were pretty buddy-buddy just a few months ago between Nadella and Altman as well. The thing is, though, besides the falling stock prices for Microsoft, people leaving the platform for Linux and even SteamOS, and every other piece of competitor happening on their space, encroaching into what they've actually been doing, Microsoft has to make a change. And I think this is exactly what they're doing in the right span of time. While every other company is doubling down and tripling down, Microsoft is quietly backing away and doing what they should have been doing in the very first place, focusing on the user experience and even the customer. Whether it's on Windows or even Xbox, they want to keep their monthly active users high. And the only way to do that is to make the right tools for the user to keep using that platform. And to make matters even worse, Microsoft may have pulled out at just the right time. Because according to Culture Crave, nearly half of all data centers planned to release in 2026 are expected to be delayed or canceled. A big reason is the shortage of electrical equipment manufactured overseas, via Bloomberg. Now you have complete outside sources totally impacting every other data center that these companies wanted to build up and bring together and then use for either streaming your games to you or forcing AI down your throat in every single capacity. Having nearly half of them being completely delayed and or canceled is just a good start if you ask me, and really should be pushing to closer around 100%. Hey, I'm just a guy on the internet, you know what I mean? But the thing is this, the more Microsoft pulls away from this kind of catastrophe, the better it's going to look for them. And the more they focus on the actual user experience, whether again on Xbox or Windows, and even focusing more on the gamer, the better they're going to look in the limelight when every other company falls apart and starts crawling back to their users. And everybody says, you know what? I'm sick of you and I'm sick of everything you did, and no, you're not getting our money. Because besides all those data centers being shut down or delayed, it looks like Sam Altman is walking around with his hat in his hands, begging for change like DSP once again. Because according to the BBC, OpenAI pauses UK data center deal over energy cost and regulation. Oh yeah, everybody's getting hit real bad, real hard, real fast. And I really think what's going to be happening is the bubble is going to absolutely pop. Now here's the big reality check for you. AI is not going away. Sorry, it's not. It's here to stay, just like how the internet is here to stay. And the dot-com bubble was a burst that happened as well. But yet we still use the internet on a daily basis. AI is going to take a whole lot of new forms moving forward into the future. But I don't think agentic AI, like everybody's claiming to have, especially people like NVIDIA's Jensen Huang claim, is not really going to be the case at all. And I think the real case for what AI is going to do is basically be a better search engine for users. But even then, sometimes AI can't even do that right, especially if the information that you're scraping from is even old, outdated, or just a bunch of people trolling online. That's where things are going to get really sticky, and figuring out how AI can be used properly for users, either when they're gaming on Xbox or when they're on Windows, is going to be the biggest trick of all. But I will say, though, I am definitely excited to see the big changes that Microsoft is doing, not only with Windows 11, but also with the Xbox brand itself. If they can pull all of this off, bring everything back to the way it's supposed to be, and give the user experience a better overhaul, you might even be seeing a lot of people no longer being angry at Windows. Remember Windows XP? Those were the days, right? When stuff just worked out of the box? I'd like that back, please. That'd be awesome if you ask me. But again, having your next console PC hybrid have the Windows OS on there and having it full of AI is something that people are not going to want either, especially after being called microslop for so long on the internet. If Microsoft can remove all the stains of AI and provide a better user experience overall and fight back against Linux and even SteamOS in the actual living room and PC space, you could be seeing a better experience not only for gamers, but for users, and hopefully at some point, even prices going back down for hardware and equipment. Wouldn't that be nice? I guess we all gotta blame Scam Altman once again for basically ruining another good thing. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think Microsoft can actually recover from their debacle of Windows 11 and even their insane love affair with AI? Or do you think it's going to be too little too late? And are you moving to Linux as well? Also, give a big shout out to Jez Corden and Windows Central for that article. It was actually fantastic. Give it a read and also check him out on Twitter too. And you know what? Speaking about what you guys got to say, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Metal Freak 1324 saying this: happy customers equals more money. Unhappy customers equals shooting yourself in the foot with a larger caliber than the last. Metal Freak, you are absolutely correct. The happier the customer, the more money you're going to get. But clearly, these companies thought they could cut the customer out in the middle and just make infinite money on their own return. Kind of like when you saw that old drawing on Reddit or 4chan where they had the magnet in front of the truck and they were like, why won't it work? It's self-propelled. It's going to be magnetized to it. And then they have to be explained why that doesn't work. You know, that kind of thing. Don't ever figure it out until it's too late. But hopefully, these companies will, though, because in the end, that'll make us happier customers and they get the money that they actually want. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and my hot takes in the gaming industry, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, listen, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with TTS for about 5 hours. It's honestly an amazing show. Chat basically runs the entire thing. It's a nightmare, but in the best way for you and the worst way for me. Saturday nights, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. If you want even more content with this ugly mug, check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. I may start live streaming there every day, but as of right now, I'm putting out a video every Monday. Usually a video essay, a little less energy and more kind of chill conversation and that kind of thing. And if I do stream, it'll just be a lot of games and hanging out with more of the community as well. So definitely check it out. Link to that is in the description down below. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!